She's my more. And the midnight zombie.
So as Karen said, my name is Gina Best. Thank you all for being here today. I'm one of the top mortgage brokers here in Metro Vancouver. I started my business about 10 years ago with an office, a phone, and great intentions. And I'm very proud to say we are now one of the largest mortgage brokerages in Western Canada. So I've been rather busy the last 10 years. But all things change. But we'll talk about that in a moment. So, have you guys ever had butterflies in your stomach? Well, I have them right now. And it's not because I'm nervous. Okay, maybe a little. Okay, maybe a lot. Really nervous, I will tell you. But it's because I really want to share a secret with you. My secret? I wanted more. On more than one occasion, I remember asking myself the question, is this it? Really? And you know that voice in your head that talks to you would say, you're greedy, you're selfish, how could you want more? You have a thriving business, a great family, lots of friends, a big social circle. How could you want more? If I was to ask you to really stop and think about it, where do you fall on your own priority list? When will you stop and ask yourself, what is the cost to you for all that you do for others? Because there is a cost. Physically, emotionally, mentally, maybe even financially, every single time you put your feelings on the back burner. How many of you, when you're asked how you are, automatically answer, I'm good or I'm fine? Really hate that one. I'd like to tell you about a time that I wasn't fine and I wasn't good. My husband and I got married in 1997, and like a lot of young couples, we wanted to start a family. So we practiced a lot. A lot. How many of you like to practice? Well, we needed some help, not with the practicing, but with getting pregnant. So we went to a fertility clinic, and with some help, we got lucky. We got pregnant with twins. The day I found out and called my husband, he was so excited. It was like every Christmas we ever had to put together, because he would have liked to have enough kids for a football team. But I knew from the moment I got pregnant, something was terribly wrong. I lost the first baby at 9 weeks in an elevator. The second, our son, at 18 weeks. And at 18 weeks, you don't just have miscarriage. I went into labor, pushed a baby into this world who would never take a breath. And when it was all said and done, my arms were empty. And when I lost the baby, I suddenly couldn't speak. I lost the voice of my feelings. And then a couple days later, my sister-in-law actually turned to me and said, Gina, for the love of Jesus, snap out of it. And I thought, snap out of it. Snap out of it. Are you kidding me? I just did 17 days of hormone shots in my ass. Turned me into a crazy woman. Spent our life savings and lost 2 babies. Oh, I snapped all right. I turned my days into nights and nights into days and didn't talk to anyone for almost a month. It was as if I was a vampire feeding on blood, but my blood was Crafts. Not Kraft Dinner, mind you, but Clove Oranges Crafts. You know, the oranges with all the little studs? I made enough to stock a Walmart. Literally. I avoided the daylight, the daylight of my own emotions, and the fear that I would turn to dust and blow away if I felt what I needed to feel. And then one day, ring, ring, hello, Gina, are you coming back to work? And I said, yes. And I put every feeling that I needed to feel into a vault, locked it, and threw away the key. Never once stopping to consider what the cost to me would be. And let me tell you, locking your feelings away don't actually make them go away. And recently I've cracked that vault a little, and I'm still kind of pissed and a little sad. I'm working on it. So I went back to work, and life went on, and it did go on. I spent the next 10 years throwing everything that I had at building my business. And then when I wasn't working, I stayed busy every single moment, so I never ever had to deal with my own feelings. And then about 5 years ago, something subconsciously changed, and we decided to adopt. We now have 2 amazing boys. And let's be honest, they're giving us a run for our money. And on top of a thriving mortgage business, I decided to open a second company. And no, it was not doing crafts. So I was looking for leadership and speaking skills. So that led me to Dov Barron's Authentic Speaker Academy for Leadership. March 2014. Boot Camp 1. Day 3. 6:01 p.m. It is seared in my brain. So Dov stood before us. And for those of you who don't know Dov, he's a rather imposing man. He's kind of large, really big neck. A lot like Mr. Incredible, but no tights and way better shoes. So he stood before us and said, tell us a story. Tell us a story about your biggest shame. And I thought, oh my God. Oh my God, 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 oh my God. Even a little bit faster than that. And I thought, I don't do shame. I don't have a shame story. I have spent years avoiding that feeling in the pit of my stomach. And I couldn't lie there because Dov has the biggest bullshit meter of anyone I have ever met. And then I had this tiny little thought that said the babies. My head said, no. And my heart said, yes. And I got up and took the microphone and talked for 16 minutes about something I had no idea I had attached such shame to. How many of you have heard of the Great Wall of China? I had the Great Wall of Gina. When I locked my feelings in the vault, I put the first brick on the wall. And then over the years, when I didn't deal with things, and let's be completely honest, I didn't deal with much, I put more bricks on the wall. From the outside, looking in, I had it all together. That day at Boot Camp 1, Dov blew a huge hole in my wall that no amount of brick and mortar will ever fix. So, I stepped through it. It was such a relief in the beginning. I didn't have to hold everything so tight anymore. I actually felt a weight lifted off my shoulders. I started listening to my heart. I started sharing my feelings, not just out loud, but on Facebook. There has been more than one time I've had to put my head between my knees before I could hit that post button. Anybody else relate? I stopped being ruled by my schedule. I actually started making time for me. And I rediscovered my love of music. How many of you love music? I am a true child of the 80s. Relax, don't do it. When you want to go to it, relax, don't do it. When you want to come, relax, don't do it. But then, everything got much, much, much worse. I didn't know the rules for this. Where was my manual? My heart took over and my head lost complete control. The grief that I held at bay for 15 years washed over me like a tsunami. It was dragging me under. I couldn't breathe. I was drowning in my own tears. And then the realization that I did this. I did this to myself. I locked away my feelings for 15 years. Oh, that one was really hard to swallow. And some days, it was so easy to go back to the Great Wall. So easy. But I learned a leadership principle. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Your comfort zone is a prison you create. And I created the Great Wall of China, and I wasn't going back, not this time. And then one morning, I woke up, and everything was different. In the beginning, I didn't know how to explain it. It was as if everything had shifted to the left. And then I realized what was different was me. And because I was different, everything around me was different. People say to me, Gina, you look different. You sound different. And when I asked them what it was, they couldn't put their finger on it. Recently, I sat on a bench with a new friend, and she shared with me that she lost a baby at 20 weeks. And that would never have happened before, but now I'm open, and people are opening up to me. I started doing things for me. You can find me at CrossFit at least 3 days a week. My favorite, the deadlift. My personal record, 245 pounds. Now, I won't kid you. It has not been all sunshine and roses, as much as I like to think it has. Recently, very suddenly, I lost my brother Tom. In the past, how I dealt with grief, I did crafts. I got busy. I didn't share how I felt with anybody. And truthfully, if people tried, I would pick a fight with them until they went away. And these eyes didn't shed any tears. But this time was different. I was present with my family and my friends. I talked about how I felt. And yes, I have shed a lot of tears, and I still am. So you may be wondering why I've shared with you about the babies and the Great Wall of Gina and locking away my feelings for so many years, and how destructive it was for me. And you, like me, may be doing the same. This is no way to live your life. The main problem is we think it's going to get better if we try harder, if we give ourselves constant pep talks. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, but gosh darn people like me. So whether you have a job or you're a new entrepreneur, come with me on a little journey. Imagine going to bed Sunday night, already picked out what you're going to wear. You wake up Monday morning before the alarm clock because you don't need it anymore. You can't wait for the day to begin. You jump out of bed and get ready for work. On the way to the office, you're excited about what the day is going to bring. As you walk in, you can feel the excitement building. What are the challenges you're going to face today? Because every day is a new adventure, allowing you to take a step into your potential. In your old job, you used to deal with problems. Now you face challenges. You look up and it's 5 o'clock. How did that happen? Where did the day go? And then you realize you were so engaged with what you were doing, you didn't look at that clock, not once. As you get ready to leave, you stop and think about what a day it's been. It was so great. All the challenges you faced. Now, other people's problems you see as challenges. Why? Because you love what you do. You are engaged in your work, heart and soul. As you get home, your partner is waiting for you. And you stop and realize when you used to come home, all you did was bitch and moan about your job. Now, they can see the excitement on your face. You look 5 years younger, and all that stress you used to carry is gone. As you get ready for bed, your partner good night, and they look at you and say, I am so glad you decided to follow your passions. You look so much younger, and you are so much easier to be around. And it's really affected our relationship too. I find it so much easier to get along with you. And when we do things together, we have so much fun. Now that you're not doing what wasn't meant for you. We are so much more connected, and you're so excited. So good for you for following your passions. Good for you for taking that step. It sounds like a dream, but it doesn't have to be. This could be your reality. I represent the Passion Test. In this 3-hour workshop, we'll help you discover your top 5 passions and give you tools to start living your life by them. When you get really clear on what you're passionate about, then you have the freedom to make decisions based on what excites you and what feeds into your passions. Have you ever met anybody in a miserable job? You may have seen them in the mirror this morning. Between 35 and 45, they always seem to look their age or older. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen anyone living their life's passion? I know there are far fewer of those, but what could this do for you? When you get really clear about what you're passionate about, you take it into your work life. Find a job that takes you from dealing with problems to a job where you face challenges. If you're in a job you dislike, I guarantee you're doing it for someone else. You're sure the hell not doing it for you. You'll start making decisions not based on what other people want or expect, but on what you want, and you'll follow your heart. When you're living in your passions, your thinking is clear. You look way younger. You're excited about your life and what you do. Your relationships are deeper and stronger because you're no longer in your head, but in your heart and connected with your feelings. I don't want you to be me. and bury your feelings for years. Because when you bury your feelings, you bury your passion. So how important is it to you to live a life filled with passion? What is it worth to you emotionally, mentally, financially to live a life from a place of passion? When will you stop and ask yourself, what is the cost to you to be living outside your passion? Don't let another moment go by, because once it's gone, it's gone. And you're not fully alive unless you're living in your passions. I don't want you to wake up 20 years from now and say, why didn't I meet Gina in the back of the room so I could connect with my passions? This is your opportunity. So meet me in the back of the room and come claim your passions. I'm Gina Best. Thank you for being here.